Hodge. Hey everybody, Nintendo Hodge back with another Road to 600 video. Been a little while since I put one out, and I have 18 new games to add into the NES collection. It's growing behind me. You can't really see, but I had to make some new shelves. I knew I was going to have to do it at some point, but I had to go buy some wood from the hardware store, cut it, paint it to match the colors that were on here. To allow for more games. And doing the math, I should be able to fit my 600 goal on this unit behind me. So yes, Road to 600. My previous video I ended off at 364. Today we are adding 365 through 383. As I said, 18 new games, and they're in a few different groupings, so I'll go through those groupings and kind of explain how it worked out. Very excited with some of the higher end games I added that I never thought I was going to be able to add. Trade is king, that's what I've been saying recently, and I moved some stuff that I've had for sale / in my collection kind of doubles, and I'll talk about that when I get there, but let's get going down the road to 600. So the first 3 games, I went back into my local hawk shop, where in my previous video I had picked up some Boxing Day grabs, and I went in there with a box of stuff to trade. I'm like, you know what, I'm going to go in. I know they had a few other NES games that I was after, and I didn't want to pay for them. They were at a little bit higher than retail, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to hold off. But now that I had trade bait, I'm like, let's go in and see what they offer me for trade. So I took my box of trade stuff in, and they started pricing it out. And as they were pricing out, I was looking at the games, and they said, oh, that's what you're looking at? Well, just so you know, we're doing a COVID special. All games are 50% off marked price. So I was ecstatic to hear that, because I got these 3 games, 50% their value, and it was all trade. I actually got to put some cash back in my pocket for these 3. First grab was Knight Rider, and these ones are in okay shape, a little rougher than some of the other ones I've grabbed. Not that good of a game. This TV show is better, let's put it that way. We'll show this one next. Immortal. So, funny story about this one. This is the second copy of Immortal I've owned in my lifetime of collecting. And the first one wouldn't work, would not work. Tested, could not get it to work. And I'll show what it looked like up on the screen. And this time, when I did this one, same exact issue that I had with the first one. So I reached out on Twitter, and VidjaGamer Ryan reached back out to me and said, hey, I found this. And sure enough, it says that this game, there's an issue with it with certain televisions where it does a funky thing with the display. So I know it works. Audio is perfect. It's just the display is really weird and funky. So this one I'm counting as working. I just need to play it on a different TV. And then the last one, I've seen these ones before and they've never really piqued my interest. But as I said, I got a 50% value, or 50% off the price. So this is Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Dragon Strike. Pretty decent shape. A little bubbling on it. I don't know how well you can see that. It's kind of weird bubbling on the cart. So they were right around market value for this. I got it half that price, about $50 for those of you that don't want to go look it up. And I've never played one of these before. This was a lot of fun. Like, you're flying around as a dragon, attacking things. I guess you get goals for each level on what you want to do. And so the first level says to kill all of these type of characters, and you fly around and you do that, and then you go to the end of the level and move on. And I guess it takes its inspiration from D&D, so pretty cool. I'll do this one quickly to get it out of the way. An eBay pickup, and that is MTV or remote control. It's amazing how this dates the NES and these games. Trivia game. I don't ever remember watching this on MTV in Canada. We had Much Music. We didn't really get MTV unless you had satellite. But like, it was asking questions about MASH, the original Star Trek, certain actors like that I've never heard of. So yeah, definitely dates itself. All right, so this next lot of 13 games. Sorry, I had to count there. So the next lot of 13 games. This was huge. This was A friend of mine, another fellow collector, reseller, picked up a huge lot of NES stuff, and I had seen the listing, and I reached out to the guy, and the guy wanted like full market value for it. I'm like, yeah, no, I'll pass. And then maybe an hour later, my buddy reached out to me and said, hey, I know you're looking for NES stuff. Here's everything I just got in this lot. So I was like, oh, he got that lot. That's awesome. Hopefully, roundabout story, he got a good deal for the lot. So I went through everything he got, and I said, I would like this. Picked all the games. I said, this is what I'm interested in. Here's what I have to trade. What are you interested in? So I ended up trading him a copy of Castlevania Symphony of the Night, a brand new in-box NES Classic and SNES Classic. So when those came out originally, I had purchased 2 sets of them, and I held on to 2, never opened them. And so he took those, and one fairly expensive PS3 game that I was trying to move. So in return for those, I got a whole bunch of stuff. One I'm super excited about. I'm excited about all of them, but let's go through them. Let's see if I can get these. And yeah, I think I already have them in kind of an order. We got George Foreman's KO Boxing. Pretty crappy boxing game compared to like Punch-Out. Before I jump into that, I also got Silent Assault. So this is another non-Nintendo. So this doesn't count to the Road to 600. But I actually do have 2 non-licensed NES games now. Originally, I had got this off of him before, and he threw it in this bundle, and I didn't realize that it wasn't a licensed game, that it was a Color Dreams game. I just saw a plastic box that he had it in, and I looked it up, and I said, yeah, okay, I'll take it, and I didn't realize it wasn't. So whatever, it's in the collection now. Like I said before, I'm not going for all the Color Dream games, but if they fall into my lap or I get them, I'll keep them. Back to the good stuff, sort of. X-Men, horrible AI game. They could have done so much better with this. X-Men, that was my go-to when I was a kid growing up. Very rough cart. We've got The Hunt for the Red October with Sean Connery on the cover. This game, I think, had a lot of potential, and they floundered on it. It's a side-scrolling sub-shooter. I think they could have made this so much better, a la like 1942, 1943, but with subs. Another one I'm a little disappointed in, thinking it was going to be good, and it's not very good. Joe and Mac. So this one, I have the Super Nintendo version as well. Super Nintendo version's a lot of fun. I really like it, and I expected this to be similar, but I guess it didn't port very well, because I'm almost positive this was arcade. It did not port well. It does not play very well on the NES. We'll go with this one next. I played a bit of it. Maniac Mansion. This is really fun. This is one I would like to sit down with and play some more. Point-and-click adventure game. Yeah, I enjoy point-and-click adventures. I used to own this a long time ago, and I never really gave it a shot. And just playing it when I was testing it, I'm like, this is fun. Probably consult a guide for a little bit of guidance, but yeah, Maniac Mansion. Okay, we have Archon. Basically somebody, and I don't know who did it or why they did it, but they took chess and made their own game out of it, but it's not chess. It has its own little icons and figures, and I gotta learn the rules on how to play it. But the part that's cool is when you take one of the other characters, or they take yours, you go into this overworld and you fight or level and you fight each other, and depending on what character you bring into there, you have different abilities, so it's pretty cool. Computer kicked my butt, but yeah. Archon, yeah. What are we gonna go? Oh, I should have started with this one. To me, not very good. We got Wrestlemania Challenge WWF. Sadly, a lot of these NES wrestling games aren't very good. I know somebody commented on my last post where I said pro wrestling. I feel the same about this. I just wish it held up better than it does, and it doesn't. I love this game. I rented this a million times when I was a kid. Balloon Fight, another black box game added into the collection. Very, very good shape. This one here, like I said, I remember my brother taking me when I was young to visit him at his house where he used to live, and we got to go to the video store and rent games, and I rented this and played the hell out of it. I remember like typing up on a keyboard, a typewriter. So back in the day, typewriter, typing up like my adventures there on the weekend, and I mentioned this game in it, and yeah, Balloon Fight, lots of fun. Okay, we'll go with Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Trav, Nes friend, did a video on this one. I think they had a lot of potential here to make a better game. I remember briefly watching the cartoon. I don't think I've ever seen the movies besides in bits and pieces or clips. Yeah, the hit detection's pretty bad in this, but it's a cool concept. I like it, and it just could have been executed better. This one I got, I mean, I'm going to get every NES game, but the reason I picked it up this time is it's one, same with Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, you do not see very often. And this is the Ren and Stimpy show, Buckaroos. I don't recall seeing this at all at swaps and conventions and in stores, like not very often. Love me some Ren and Stimpy. The game's okay. I need to give it a better shot and more time in it. You play a bunch of like mini games, and I wasn't exactly sure what to do. I kept playing the same game over and over again. I had to look up a few things, but I think with some more time, this would be a lot of fun. And two more from this lot. The next one is Ghoul School. Again, Trav, Nes friend, he's done a video on this one. A lot of potential here, just poorly executed. And when I was playing it, I'm like, this seems very familiar, and I guess it's the same guy or company that did Bart versus the Space Mutants, so you'll notice right away some of the creatures look very similar to that one. Ghoul School, awesome name, poor execution, wish this was better. And then the last one, this was like blown my mind. I couldn't believe I got this. Very happy to add this one in the collection. One that I have never ever thought I would add, and that is Capcom's Mighty Final Fight. Pretty high-priced NES game. It is now in my collection. I'm actually going to end up putting it up here somewhere in the special spot. I love this game. Tons of fun. Beat 'em up. Mighty Final Fight characters. What more to say? It's sad that this is as expensive as it is, because people should be able to enjoy this and play it. And if you can't play it in this form, play it at least through emulation. Mighty Final Fight is in the collection. Okay, and then on to the last three of this pickup. Stop back into my buddy Bobby and Jorge Retro Chase Games. Go check them out if you're ever in the area. And I got a couple of free pins to add into my collection, so very cool. But I brought a bunch of stuff in there to trade, so I have dropped my inventory of trade and sale stuff down quite a bit. But I was able to add some more games in my collection, another high-end one that I didn't think I was going to be able to add. But first, I picked these up. I couldn't turn them down. Some Nes Official Stickers. I remember these back in the day. I don't remember where I got them back in the day, but these just like Link there, Princess and Mario. We got the Punch Out with Little Mac and everything. Like, these things are so awesome. Very happy. I don't know where I'm going to display them, but just so cool. I love little things like this. So pick that up from there. And then I grabbed 3 games with the stuff that I traded in. We will go with first the Great Waldo Search. Not the Waldo game you see very often. I grabbed this one because of that. Not a very good game. It's pretty easy to find Waldo. Pretty much sit down and beat this thing in like 10 minutes-ish. Not very difficult game. But Road to 600. Got to try to get them all, right? And then the next one, this is a port. A lot of people don't speak highly of this. I enjoyed it. It could be better for sure, but that is Elevator Action. Yeah, top to bottom, going down levels, collecting items before you leave the level. Yeah, it's nothing fancy, but it's not a slouch either. I think it's got potential, and it's enjoyable. And then the last one here, another, as I said, Trade is King. Another one I wasn't sure if I would get in my collection. It's right on the cusp of where my cutoff is for like purchasing games, but it was trade credit, traded for this, and we now have Contra Force in the NES collection on the road to 600. Little label on the back there. I might actually leave that on. It's actually from like the rental store. So not on a real Contra game. It's just a skin, and they decided to call it Contra. But I do have Super C and Contra, so I guess I could say subset complete. But yeah, Contra Force. Can't believe I was able to add these two heavies in. Contra Force and Mighty Final Fight. As I said, all trade. Trade is king. All right, let's do this. Obligatory shot. 18 new games in the collection. Went from 364, or this is 365, to 383, getting very, very close to 400 games. Yeah, that's awesome. Got the room on my shelf now, as I said. I have a birthday coming up, so I know I'll be getting a few things from my wife and kids. I'm pretty excited to see what I end up with, and yeah, 383 NES games. I didn't think I would move this fast, but it's going pretty good. I actually have a bunch of stuff there, PSP stuff that I'm moving because I just don't touch it, don't play it. So I'm hoping to get the money from that for some other NES stuff or trade. Have some feelers out there now, but nothing's been responded to yet, so we'll see what happens. All right, everybody, thank you for watching this video. We will see you in the next one.